Hello, this is Alex from Lincoln Park Library, and today's How To Tuesday is how to make cork fairy houses out of champagne corks. So materials that you will need at least one champagne cork, but depending on however many that you want to make, you can make more than one. You will also need paint or paint pens. You can also even use Sharpies or permanent markers for all the little detailing that will need to be done. But for the base coat, I would definitely use acrylic paint or acrylic paint pens. So for step 1, you want to paint the first coat of the background. So for this one, you can see here, the top is red and the bottom is white. So you might need for this one at least 2 or 3 coats of paint to cover the entirety of the cork. I believe I did 2 for this one, so this is the first coat of the background. Then you can move on to the next coat. So once the second coat is done, if you think maybe you need a third one, then let that second coat dry completely as well, and then move on to your third coat if you need it. So once your background is done, you can move on to step 2. So you'll want to start doing the detail work. So first, what you'll want to do, you'll want to create 2 circles on either side for the windows, and I used like a nice bright yellow just to like signify that there's light inside. And then I did a lighter yellowish gold for the door. So I outlined those, I color them in, and then I moved on with a black paint pen after the yellow paint had dried, and I did my little details on the door. As you can see here, I did a little window, I did some slats, a doorknob, and then I also on both windows I outlined them and did the window paint. So I suggest for all like the outlining and like the detail work for this that you use black just to have that nice contrast, but you can also use brown as well. Step 3 is when you start doing like the foliage and the flowers. So first I used dark green. I created the grass down here. You can see I kind of just did it a little messy. I went up and down just to show some dimension. And then after I was done with the dark green, I took a light green and created smaller pockets of grass and foliage all around. Like there were some spots where I went up higher, some I just left with the dark green. It's just supposed to add some dimension and a bit of lightness to the dark green. Then once the grass was totally dry, I used colors like pink and purple and orange to create like little dots that are supposed to be flowers, and I did that all around the bottom as well, as you can see here. So you can really use any colors that you want, but I suggest bright colors, colors that aren't already included. Like you don't want to use red because you have so much red up here. I didn't really want to use yellow either just because I had yellow windows and a yellow door. So I decided to use colors that I thought were bright and different. Then for the next step, you want to add the white dots to the top of the cork, as you can see here. Once that first coat dries, you can also go over the white again because you might need more than one coat for it to be totally covered. So those are the steps for the simpler version. So that's the mushroom looking one where it's white on the bottom and red on top. There's also another one that you can do as well. So I made a brown cork, and it's very similar instructions to the red and white one. First, you want to paint the entire thing brown and let that dry completely. And then you'll want to add a window to the top middle, as seen here. And the same thing, you'll do your outline in black and your window pane. And then you'll want to draw a door. So I used a light pink for the door. And then again, use the black to create like the trellis and the outline, as well as the lines in the door and the doorknob. So all of that was done with a black paint pen. And then after that dried, I added little lights. So I did little colorful dots of blue, yellow, and orange. And that was kind of the front of what this one looks like. And for the rest of it, so like on the bottom here, you can see I did the same thing, but in reverse. I did the light green first for the grass, and then I did the dark green on top. And then I also added like little white dots as well. And then what I did, I made this really cool vine that went up the back. So it went between the 2 windows that were on the back. It went all the way up to the top, and like kind of down the sides. So I did that with a dark green paint pen first. I kind of just drew up. I drew like the outline of a leaf, another leaf. I went up, did a couple leaves up here. Then I took my black paint pen and I did my little tiny details. I did like little loops and leaves. I did different size leaves, different size loops. They kind of went off the grain as well. And I did that to outline them and give them some detail. And then I went back in with the light green paint pen and I kind of just highlighted different parts of it. Overall, it's a little harder to do. It definitely takes more drying time in between, especially like with this vine in the back. This one I would definitely suggest using a lot of like Sharpies or acrylic paint pens, because there is a lot more like small detail work, especially with the vine in the back, and then as well as the front has a lot of small detail work right here by the door. But those are two different types of fairy houses that you can make. All you need is champagne corks. You can either save ones if you or your family ever drink champagne or, have mimosas or anything, or you can also order them online if you don't ever have champagne as well. They're like the perfect little size for these fairy houses. They're super cute. They dry fairly quickly because they are so small, and they're overall just really cute spring decorations. So since Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, make sure you save all the champagne corks, tell your family to save them so that you have something to use when making a cork fairy house. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.